let me ask you a question. Have you ever been to a party and you really wanted to wear high heels, but you just couldn't bear the thought of one more night where your legs are feeling tired and you would go home feeling exhausted? And also, do you really know how to walk in high heels? Come on, let's be honest. Most of us don't have a clue how to do it in a gracious, beautiful way so that we not only get the height that we like that comes with wearing high heels, but we also look awesome in the process. And that's precisely why I invited a very special guest today, and her name is Isheeba, and she will teach us how to look great in high heels, how to look great walking in high heels, and how to feel confident and feel like you are on top of the world, doing it every single time with a special technique called the Alexandra technique. Now, Isheeba, welcome to the show, and tell us, what does it take to do exactly that, to wear high heels and look glamorous every single time?
Okay, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here talking heels. Now, to have wearing heels and for a length of time is an art because for most time when women wear heels, we have the common problems like cramping in the calves, pains in the balls of the feet, lower back pain, poor posture. So all of these things need to be addressed before you can get to the point where you are master the art of wearing high heels. So there are a few things we have to look into. We have to look into a stable shoe, number one. We have to look into doing feet exercises, just similarly if you're going to the gym, you want to warm up your body, you want to get your body fit and well to be strong. The same thing we have to do with our feet. We have to get our feet fit and healthy for heels. We want to look into our posture. We want to look into if people are having lower back problems or neck pain or hip pains, knee problems. The Alexander technique will scientifically, medically look at these things for us. And then we look at the frame of mind. We know that once all of these things are in place, we're going to be feeling fabulous and beautiful and sexy. So there's a good few things that we need to look at before we really can get to that point where we're totally 100% confident in our heels.
Perfect. And how do we start doing, going through all these steps in order to look fabulous and feel confident and look great every single time?
Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at buying a stable shoe. Now, some women are wearing heels and they feel a little bit unstable in heels, and they're blaming themselves because they're like, oh, I can't feel, upright or balanced in heels. And it could well be the shoe itself. So the important thing is to conduct the rocking test. Now, the rocking test is when you put your shoe on a table with your heels facing you, and you just take your index finger and tap the back of each shoe. Now, the shoe should not move. If the shoe is rocking from side to side, you know that is a very unstable shoe. And so when you walk in that shoe, you're going to be compromising yourself because it's like the foundation is not steady, so you're going to be a bit wobbly. So if the shoe is steady and there's no movement, that's a really good shoe. And ladies, don't forget, don't think you have to pay thousands of pounds for a pair of shoes that are stable, because you can go to some of the even high-end stores, as I've done conducting the rocking test on various shoes that cost £1,000 and more, and they can be unstable. And then you go to maybe a shop that the prices aren't as high, and you might tap the shoe and the shoe is stable. So you just have to know what you're doing and just conduct the rocking test on every shoe that you come across, basically.
Okay, that's a great step.
Yeah, so that's a good start. And once you've got a stable shoe, then you can go ahead and know that your journey ahead is going to be a little bit more comfortable. Then you're going to look into doing feet exercises. Now, I always ask women, how many of us do feet exercises before we put on heels? Not many of us. We're going out and we're like, yeah, you get ready, you get your hair done, your outfit, and you put the heels on. And then just as you get to the car, you find that your calf might be cramping up, or the balls of your feet. You think, oh my God, how on earth am I going to survive the evening? the balls of my feet are already killing me. My lower back is, all these issues come up. So 5 minutes before you put your heels on, you come out the shower, you've got your hair done, you put your makeup on, you've got your beautiful outfit on. Just do a few feet exercises. Now, you can come up onto the ball of each foot. That's a really good one. You can do that brushing your teeth in the morning and just practice that. You can sit on a chair and point your feet, lengthen your feet out in front and just point and flex your feet. That warms up the calves, that warms up the ankles. You can do ankle rotations. I'll show you one day, one day maybe when we get together and we'll do a session with you and a one-to-one, I'll show you all of these feet exercises and you can show all of your guests personally. But you just kind of just do some, rotations with the ankles left and right. And then you can just come up, you can hold on to the back of the chair, come up onto the balls of your feet, and then lower your heels down to the ground, come up onto the balls of the feet, lower your heels down to the ground. And this way, the calves get nicely warmed up, the ankles get warmed up. And so when you go now to put your heels on, everything's nice and warmed and flexible.
Ah, sounds very good. And
Yeah.
what other steps do you have that regular girls like me could use?
So the next step is a very valuable step to take, and that's the Alexander technique. Now, the Alexander technique teaches the human body how to achieve perfect posture. It teaches you how to move with a balanced state, and it helps you relieve neck, back, and shoulder pain. So for women who've got lower back problems and, or have any sort of shoulders, neck pain, joint pains, ankle pains, knee injuries, anything like that, the Alexander technique is going to really, really help. It's very respected within the medical field, the world of science and education. And what it does, it just re-educates your body so that it becomes much more aligned and upright. So again, if you've got poor posture, sometimes you see women walking in heels and their posture is not so great. They might be leaning forwards as if they're going to topple over. You'll find that the posture becomes much more upright and elegant. And also you get this sense of really gliding. So you become lighter on your feet. So this is what actually helps us ladies to wear our heels for longer. Now, I would recommend that if, there are lots of Alexander teachers in London, you can get a half an hour lesson every week. People can come to me or they can find other teachers and just have that as a part of your weekly program anyway, because not only will it help you to walk in heels, but it will just help you sat at your laptop every day. We all sit at the laptop. It will help us to sit there and have a good posture without neck pain, without shoulder pain. So it's just a good thing to have in the mix anyway, and then that will assist us in our heels.
That's really interesting. I don't want to disrupt the flow of your techniques, but I have a very funny question. Okay, so everything that you said seems so valuable. But the thing that I usually encounter in terms of wearing heels is that how the heels tend to have really small kind of like the front part of the shoe tends to be really small, right? And when you're wearing high heels for a long time, it's almost like the shoes become too small. It feels like the shoes are too small for my feet,
Right.
So I'm not sure if that's because maybe I have bigger feet than usual, or that's something that all women experience, and then they just kind of put up with the fact that really I'm looking at all the shoes on the market, and except for trainers, I don't think the shoes are really made for the size of the feet. So for example, like we don't have triangular feet, right? We have sort of, we have them a little bit at an angle, and the feet tend to be bigger than the actual shoe. So like, how do you overcome that technique of, do you have to like buy way bigger shoes and maybe put something to kind of make up for them looking too baggy and too big and so on? Or how do you work that one out?
That's a really, really good question, because lots of women have the same problems. Now, because some women's feet are thinner or slim, some have wider feet, some women have bunions, some women have toes that are longer. The most important thing is to find the shoe that is actually right for you. Most of us will go into a store and we'll just see beautiful shoes and we'll just pick them up, and we don't even try them on for any length of time to see if they actually fit us well. From they can just slip on our feet, the toe may even just be touching the front of the shoe just a little bit too much. And you know that if you wear that for any longer than 10 minutes, it's going to be really burning your toe and you just want to throw those shoes off. We need to just take our time to choose the right shoes. And if you have got a wider foot, I know what you mean about the particularly pointed shoes. You don't really want to get a shoe that is actually the next size up, because it's going to be flipping off the back of your foot. And again, you know, it's going to cause you problems because your foot's going to slide down into that shoe and your toes are all going to bunch up at the end of the day anyway. The thing to do is when you have a shoe like that is to maybe get a grip sole that your foot can actually feel a bit more gripped in the shoe and not slide forwards as much. Obviously, bearing in mind that the shoe itself needs to be, if your foot is wide, a nice wide fitted shoe across the joint area. And then just get a nice grip in the shoe so that the shoe, the toes don't fall too much forwards and end up all bunched up at the end of the shoe by the end of the evening. And just, you know, make sure again that women buy the right size. I know sometimes those shoes are so delicious and you have to have them. They're the right color to go with the outfit, to go with the handbag, everything. They're so delicious. And there's a temptation to get the shoe one size smaller because it's the only ones they have left, and you just have to have them. That always ends in tears, because you wear those shoes and you just feel like you've been thrown under the bus the whole rest of the evening. Your feet are on fire. You end up having to kick those shoes off and resort to maybe even flats in the middle of your event. And that's obviously not what we want. We want our ladies to be able to wear the heels door to door, basically, and have a really enjoyable time, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. And if you can continue to tell us some more of the Alexandra technique and how it works.
Yeah, so the Alexander technique, it's almost like working against gravity. When you start to when you have a lesson, your body begins to spiral upwards. So this is what gives you that upright posture. This is what helps your head to be beautifully balanced on top of the spine. And this is what gives you that sense of movement, because the Alexander technique is the study of movement. So when you see someone walking really elegantly in their heels, chances are you can say yes, you can tell the difference of somebody that's had an Alexander lesson and walking with that kind of graceful awareness and that gliding effect. I mean, the Alexander technique gives you that gliding feeling and that look. And because it's almost like you're defying gravity and you're being spiraled up, your body's going up as opposed to going down, you become so much more lighter on your feet. So that helps us to wear our high heels all day and all night. And that's what I promote. When I'm ready to wear my heels, I wear them all day and all night. And people say, how can you manage to do that? Well, the Alexander technique, that is the biggest secret behind it all. It's not even a secret, because it's a proper medical theory, practical, that helps us in these areas. So definitely for women who want to wear their heels for longer, the Alexander technique is absolutely the key.
Thank you. And is there a reason why you started teaching this technique? Like, are you in some way, have you struggled personally with that, or what got you motivated to kind of teach about this?
Yes, well, I'm a singer-songwriter and always worked in the fashion industry. I worked with Eric Clapton on his album, his Pilgrim album. I was in the studio with him for a year, and then he asked me to join him on a world tour. And of course, being on a world tour, flying around on private jets, it's not a flat shoe affair. It's killer heels all the way. And I was on stage every night, performing every night, 2 to 3 hours in heels, and my lower back was absolutely destroyed. I was having to take painkillers every night to go out on stage, and it was really, really hard. I tried osteopathy, I tried physiotherapy, I tried the lot, and I just suffered with such lower back problems. And then when I finished that 1 year tour, someone introduced me to the Alexander technique. My teacher, my current teacher, Alice Oster, she introduced me to the technique. I'd never heard about it before, and I went along and started having lessons, and I was like, wow, this is just amazing. What I loved about the technique, number one, is that it was so gentle, because I was done with being clunked and clicked. I was already in a lot of pain. Every time I went to see a chiropractor, not knocking chiropractic work, because obviously it has its place for some people, but for me personally, I just found it stressful, because I was always waiting for that click, and I was in pain, and I just always felt like I was in more pain. But with the Alexander technique, it was so gentle, and I was like, wow. And then I was, every week when I went back, my back was getting better and better. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then my teacher encouraged me. She said, I think you could train to be an Alexander teacher. And I was like, no, I just want to get on with my modeling and singing career. I want to get back into my heels. And long story short, I then decided to train. And so I took 3 years out of my singing and modeling career and studied the Alexander technique. And because I wanted to get back into my heels, I was thinking, I wonder if I could use the technique and apply it to heels, what would happen? And then this is where my discovery and my invention came up with this technique, how to master the art of heels using this technique. And I started running workshops and classes, and it basically did what it said on the tin, and women were transforming, and hence here I am.
What's quite interesting is if I'm sure you've watched a lot of kind of models and, like Miss Universe type contests and so on. And I find that quite interesting how, women, there are so many women that are so beautiful. I mean, it would be so hard to choose which one is the most beautiful one. But I do think that a big part of the scoring of which one is the most beautiful is actually the fact that they walked with a big smile and they walked with confidence. And I think a
Yes.
lot of the times the confidence also comes from having that perfect kind of swish of the dress and stepping with incredible confidence in your heels, because you do really have to wear heels when you're in a competition like that. And I think that many times we go to parties and we see a lot of women, right? And we see a lot of women that are very beautiful, and they sometimes like struggle to walk in heels, and you see others and they're like so gracious and so beautiful. And that's, of course, it's more rare to see those women that really have mastered the art of walking with such grace and elegance. And I think we all, to some extent, desire to have that so we can feel comfortable and beautiful and admired and gorgeous. Um, and I think it's probably the reason why you created a retreat around this topic, right? Like to empower more women to be confident and to release, different blocks that they have, and through yoga and meditation and walking in heels, right?
Yes. I mean, because let's face it, a woman, she can have the most amazing hairdo, she can have the most amazing makeup, and nails can be banging, she's got the most beautiful designer clothes, she's got the handbag to match, and she can't walk in her heels. The whole look goes down the drain. Every woman wants to feel beautiful. Every woman wants to step out in confidence. And when you're wearing heels, it's a consciousness, because every single step you take, you have to be aware of that step. You can't just bumble along in heels, because you might just end up on the floor. You have to be conscious of every single step. And that consciousness is a package to feeling good, looking good, having a good shape, feeling confident to know that when you're stepping into a room, you're stepping in with impact. That goddess energy just comes out, and people are like, wow, you're amazing. And once we know how to walk in heels, and we can feel confident and forget about the fact that, oh my gosh, am I going to be okay in heels, and so conscious about the fact that you're doing something wrong. Once you know that you're walking really well in heels, that the rest of you can just shine, and you can focus on feeling beautiful, and know that you're the most beautiful woman in the world, and that everybody loves you, because you've got this mantra going on inside of you, and that impacts everything and everyone and everywhere that you go. And then suddenly you're just like a walking magnet. People are like, wow, this woman is incredible. And this is what we desire as women, isn't it, really?
Yes. And I think as a businesswoman and as a woman in general, we desire to be not only admired, but we desire to attract business. We desire
Yes.
to be, you can say, admired anyway for who we are. And I think that when we are in our goddess energy, when we are in that divine feminine, and we are like that exactly when we have mastered that confidence of walking in heels and feeling really great and looking really great. And I think that we can get that, especially when we've mastered the art of walking in heels. So tell us about your retreat in Jamaica, where you are going to teach exactly about that, and what are people going to learn there, and what kind of results can we expect?
Oh, wonderful. So, firstly, you're going to be in the sunny Caribbean of Jamaica. Now, Jamaica is such a wonderful place. I mean, the sun, the beach, the sand, the atmosphere, just the smell of the Caribbean, to actually get fresh, coconuts from the tree and get that coconut water from not having to go to Sainsbury's or Waitrose to get it in a box. I mean, just the freshness and the organicness of being in that environment already makes us feel alive and electric. And so the retreat's going to be in a beautiful exclusive villa right by the sea. There's a private beach. We have a private pool in the villa. We're accommodating about 12 people at the moment. And the whole retreat is going to be focusing on evoking that goddess energy that all of us want to feel within us. And it comes from a place within. So what we're going to do, we're going to work on getting that area where we'll do some nice, beautiful meditation, some affirmations just to confirm how beautiful we are. Know that that inner heartfelt is we're genuinely feeling that. And then eating really well so that we can feel beautiful and sexy and feeling we fitting in our clothes really nicely. If people want to maybe perhaps to lose a couple of pounds, we can do little things that can help to just tighten up the body and make the body even more shapely. The yoga is going to help to keep that flexibility and that mobility and that movement going really well. And then get into the heels, because we want to be feeling ready to get into these heels. And then once we get those heels on now, those delicious, beautiful, sexy stilettos, and then learn to walk in them, my God, you're going to just see the goddess just rise up, and then the world is ours. And that's ultimately what people are going to be able to experience and get from this retreat in Jamaica.
Sounds really awesome. And is there going to be some I don't know, nutrition counseling or meditation? And is there any part of it that is about your inner kind of inner energy?
Definitely, definitely. Well, the yoga and the meditation takes good care of that. It helps us to be introverted, to look at what's going on inside of us, connecting to the spiritual aspect of ourselves, awakening that goddess part of ourselves, and feeding ourselves the right mental mantras about ourselves, knowing that we are the most beautiful woman in the world. Everybody loves us. No matter what we do, we flourish. Whatever we touch turns to gold. All of these beautiful mantras that we can continue to reassure ourselves, to tell ourselves who we are, and reconnect to that divine goddess that some of us have forgotten. So this will begin to awaken, and again, it will then begin to shine from inside out. Our eyes will glow. There's going to be detoxing. So if the body's feeling a bit sluggish and a bit heavy, Dr. Merlee Harris will be on the retreat as well, and she'll be helping us to do the detox side of things and look into our gut, making sure that our gut is a healthy place. And so we're looking at the holistic approach to beauty, the 360 degrees, not just one aspect. We're looking at all of it, so that when a woman hits the runway, as I would say, to the world, she's fully loaded and with full impact.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it sounds to me like your retreat is about awakening the divine feminine through detox, beauty, walking in stilettos, and it feels like it's an experience for potentially entrepreneurial women that desire to go to that next level. They desire to magnetize their audience. They desire to magnetize their desired partner potentially, or to attract a new one.
Yes.
And also I think that it can help any woman who desires to awaken more of who she really is, so she can really find herself, because I think through yoga, meditation, and confidence, and I think also releasing a lot of the toxins inside can
Yes.
enable us to rediscover who we really are, and to kind of clean, get rid of stuff that is, blocking our flow and energy, and to some extent can block us from attracting love, right? And I think we all desire to be loved, to be admired, to feel sexy, stylish, and beautiful. And yeah, I love the concept. So for those of you watching, I hope that you do register for this amazing Jamaican retreat. And Isheeba has also a workshop about how to walk in high heels with confidence, so you can magnify your beauty, your confidence, and attract and magnetize your desired clients, and also to magnetize your potential desired partner. So for all of you considering this, well, I highly recommend it. You can see Isheeba is the queen just from the way she comes across. So yeah, thank you so much, Isheeba, for coming along.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to working with you and all the beautiful women out there that's ready to take it to the next level.